To optimize your camera for taking pictures of sports, you may want to set a specific scene mode depending on the sport you're shooting. However, for more control over camera functions, you might want to set the shutter priority mode instead. In which case, you want to make sure the flash is turned off, set the drive mode, set the autofocus frame, set the ISO, and as always, the white balance. We'll first go ahead and set up the scene mode. Turn the mode dial to SCN. Now press the function button right here in the back to access the function menu, and at the top is the scene functions that you can scroll through by using the control dial right here. And you want to set this to the high speed burst HQ scene. What this will do is when you press the shutter button all the way down and hold it down, the camera will take 10 shots in 1 second. This is really great, for example, when you're taking a picture of a golf swing or a baseball pitch. Go ahead and press the Set button to escape and choose this function. And now you're ready to take your shot. The camera is pretty much optimized. You just frame the shot the way you want it, zoom in if you need it, press the shutter button halfway to ready the camera. And then, when you're ready to shoot, press the button the rest of the way to take the 10 shots. Remember to keep the shutter button pressed all the way down so the camera will continue to take the 10 shots. If you release the shutter button early, the camera will just stop taking pictures. For more control over camera functions, go ahead and set the shutter priority mode instead. Turn the mode dial to TV. This stands for time value or shutter priority. When you use the shutter priority mode, the camera allows you to set the shutter speed you want to use. In this case, you want to use a fast shutter speed to stop the action of your subject, while the camera automatically adjusts for a proper aperture so you get a right exposure. Use the camera's front dial right here to adjust the shutter speed setting. If I move it to the left, the shutter speed slows down, and by moving it to the right, I'm selecting a faster shutter speed. I'll go ahead and choose 1/250th of a second. This is pretty good to stop many sports. However, if your subject is moving very fast, like a horse race or car racing, you'll probably want to choose a faster shutter speed than this. To make sure you have enough light in your scene, go ahead and press the shutter button halfway to see what the camera chooses as the aperture. In my case, the aperture chosen is f2.0, and you'll notice that it's white, not red, which indicates I have enough light in my scene. If the aperture was red, it means the camera is not able to open it wide enough to allow for enough light for a well-balanced exposure. This means I'll either need to increase the ISO or slow down the shutter speed. Now keep in mind with sports, using the flash tremendously slows down the camera's ability to react. So make sure the flash is turned off. Press the flash all the way down so it doesn't fire accidentally. Also, I'm going to guess your subject is more than 10 feet away. So using the flash is really not going to help illuminate the subject at all. Now let's go ahead and set the drive mode. Press the function button right here in the center to access the function menu, and then go down to the drive mode function right there. Use the control dial to move between these functions, and use the continuous setting. Go ahead and press set. What the continuous setting does is allow you to hold the shutter button all the way down, and the camera will continue to take pictures as long as the shutter button is pressed. This is great in sports situations, so you can press the shutter button all the way down and track the subject as the camera continues to take pictures. Now let's go ahead and set the autofocus frame. This is located in the main menu. Press the main menu button right here, and then go down to the first menu item right there and choose the tracking autofocus. You'll notice that a few focusing options become gray when this option is selected. Go ahead and press the main menu button again to escape. Now my focus point is right in the center. It's a bit smaller than what you're used to, and you can press the shutter button halfway to lock focus on the subject. And as you track the subject, you can see that the focus point moves with the subject. So if my camera were steady, but the subject moving, the focus point would keep tracking the subject as they're moving across the frame. Let's make sure the ISO is properly set. Press the ISO button right up here at the top, and then use the control dial to move this around. Again, if you don't have enough light in your scene, you may need to increase this above 1600 to maintain a fast enough shutter speed for your sports. If, however, you're outdoors on a nice sunny day, you can just set this to auto and that should be fine. Remember, auto ISO can set the ISO between 80 and 1600 and it usually does a very good job. Go ahead and press set to escape. Finally, let's go ahead and set the white balance. Press the function button to access the function menu and go up to the white balance function right there, and again use the control dial to move between these options. If you're outdoors, go ahead and choose daylight, or if it's a cloudy day, you can choose cloudy. This will warm up the tones in your image. If you're indoors, you can choose the appropriate setting for your lighting situation. You'll get to see in the back how the color changes as you're choosing the different options. Choose the option that best suits your needs and go ahead and press set. Now you're ready to take your shot. Place the focusing square over the subject and press the shutter button halfway to lock focus. As the subject is now moving around, the focus point will continue to track that subject, even if the subject moved towards the camera or away from the camera, changing the focal plane. The camera will always continue to focus on that subject. Once the subject is in position, go ahead and press the shutter button the rest of the way and hold it down. That way, you can track the subject as the camera keeps taking pictures.